Welcome to the channel, everybody. I am Benningfield. We are back with another movie car build for you, though technically it is a TV car build, but any famous car goes. And this one, big shout out to Master Tricks. He suggested this in my comments on my last build. He wanted Magnum P.I.'s Ferrari, so that's what we're going to be building today, or as close as we can get in GTA. There's a few differences I'll point out, but still it's pretty close. So if you'd like to add it to your collection, first thing you have to do is bring up your phone, go to the internet, go to Legendary Motorsports. With the scroll pretty far down. Keep on going. There it is. The Grotti Cheetah Classic for $865,000. You can go ahead and order it in red if you want. That'll give you the classic red, which is, you'll see later, that's what we're going to go with anyway. Get that ordered up. Whenever it arrives at your garage, your vehicle, you can take it, once the vehicle arrives at your garage, you can take it up to your office, garage, workshop, or any Los Santos customs will work. Then we'll get into the build. I'm not going to focus on the armor and brakes and stuff like that. It's purely cosmetics. Couple of the downsides, the vents on the side's a little bit different. The front end's a little bit different, and they did have a convertible. There is a lot of similarities, though, to this car, so it's the closest I could personally find in GTA. So that's the one I suggest, the Grotti Cheetah Classic. But you want to go to bumpers, front bumpers, and he had the black bumper that stuck out, which we can kind of emulate that with the grill shows in black, but the splitter on the front was red to match the car, so I would go with stock with primary splitter. The other ones are just too far out there for what he had. So stock with primary splitter is the closest we're going to get. Unfortunately, they didn't have the exact same bumper. And for the rear bumpers, it doesn't matter because it's secondary is the same color, so just stay with the stock rear bumper, save yourself some money. The engine, you can do the engine block if you want. If you want to change the color, it doesn't show, so that's not really necessary. That's up to you. And the engine tunes is up to you. Exhaust, though, you do want to go with the carbon tip exhaust. He did have quad exhaust, so you don't want to go with any of the dual exhaust down there. Did have the quad tip exhaust, and I think the carbon just looks better with the build. It doesn't have like the burnt tip, which he didn't have. So go with the carbon tipped exhaust. For the fenders, I went back and forth on this because he just had like the one little vent in the side, so I thought about going with the vented rear, but it puts that vent on the top of the fender, as you can see, and he did not have that. So I ended up ultimately going with stock fender, but I think either one of these are a close choice, so I would leave that up to your preference. But personally, I think the stock fender keeps that smooth on top, looks a little bit better, so I went with stock fender. For the hood, we have the retro hood is the exact replica of his hood. That is spot on. I'm sure that is what it was mimicked after. So go with the retro hood. Horn doesn't matter. Lights, I always do xenon. I think it looks better on an older car like this, though. The yellowish tint is more realistic, so you could stay with stock, but I prefer xenon. Loss and theft don't matter. Plate don't matter. Respray, as I said before, we'll go down to classic, and I went with the Torino red, but it will come in the classic red if you order it, which is, it's kind of in between the two. I just kind of prefer the Torino, so classic Torino red. And then for your secondary, go down to classic Torino red again, because you don't want that stripe to be a different color down the middle. So classic Torino red on both those. For the trim color, I went with the bleach brown, and I was on the fence about this one too. I thought the cream was too white, and the bleach brown, I don't know, it just looked a little bit closer, and personally, so I think the bleach brown is a good fit. So because he did have the cream color interior, or brown, light brown interior, whatever you want to do. You don't want a crew emblem on it. For the roof, you don't want none of those. Just keep it stock. He didn't have any kind of sun strip. For the skirts, I went with the stock, or you could go with the ridge skirt if you prefer to get rid of the name on the side, but it didn't have like a vent in it, so I wanted to keep it kind of smooth, so I kept the stock skirt. Plus it saved you 10 grand because it's not a huge difference. So stock skirt. Spoiler, definitely go with the classic spoiler. That is identical to what he had. It's real similar in the back, other than they kind of boxed it up a little bit for GTA. It's a slightly different model Ferrari, technically, but his is a little bit more rounded, but it's pretty similar from the back and from the side. Really is. It's just that front bumper and that little vent on the side is what's really off. Plus, obviously, it's not a convertible. I wish we had a convertible option. But for the spoiler, go with classic spoiler. What else we got? Suspension, transmission's up to you. Though I do suggest dropping the suspension down, especially on a sports car. It just looks better. So I did the sport suspension, transmission, turbo, doesn't matter. Wheels, wheel type, I went with the tuner, and I went chrome, and I went 5-star. I went chrome. His are kind of gray, but it definitely looked like the 5-star. And if you go to the stock ones, they're gray, but the trim is still chrome, so I'd rather had it all the same. So I went the chrome. Plus, if you happen to have these free, it works out good. Or if you have not only the tuner, but also the lowriders chrome, they actually have the exact same rim on it. You can go down to the 5-star, even though I went right past it. Where was it? Well, I'm missing it somewhere. Why am I overlooking it? Oh, oh, never mind. Muscle. Sorry, it was muscle 5-star. Yeah. So if I don't have these free, and I did have the tuners free. That's why I went with tuners. If you have the muscles free, vice versa, you could go with that. So it's got 2 options, and you can get the free chrome rims. I do suggest the chrome though, because I don't like the trim and everything not matching. Wheel color, you can't change chrome. Tire design, you do not want the tire design on it. He didn't have any kind of lettering on his tires. I always suggest bulletproof tires, but not necessary. Tire smoke, up to you. And for the windows, I went with the light smoke. He did have somewhat of a tint on it, and I think it looks really good blacked out too, but the light smoke is real close to what he had in the show. So we'll go with that, and that is it, guys. We can X to the ground. So there it is, Magnum P.I.'s Ferrari. If you're wanting to add it to your collection for your movie/TV cars that GTA offers. I said it's not an exact replica, but it's really, really close by GTA standards especially. And I think it's a good build and a good vehicle to add to your collection. So again, big shout out to Master Tricks for suggesting this build. If you have any builds you'd like to see me build, any movie car, TV car, famous build, feel free, comment down below. I will try to get to them as soon as I can, or you can DM me on Twitter. I do have those open, and I will try to get to them. And yeah, I am Benningfield, guys. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and follow me on Twitter, Benningfield01, so you can hit me up on them DMs or just get a hold of me. Plus, I do tweet out when a live stream starts, a new video drops on there, and then, so it's a good way to get in touch with me. But I appreciate everybody, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.